Everybody. My name is Vicki Condon. I'm the founder and CEO here at Raise Foundation, and we wanted to welcome you to the Mentor Information Session to hear all about what it's like to become a Raise mentor. I'm going to just talk through a little bit for you about what Raise does, who we are, and the kind of work that we do with young people. Then I'm going to hand over to Rachel, who is from our volunteer engagement team, and she'll talk to you about what all the requirements are of a mentor. And then we'll hear from someone who's been a mentor. Her name's Jo, and she'll tell you all about what it's actually like to be a mentor on the ground. So at Raise, we exist because lots of young people in our country are really struggling right now. We know that there are a lot of challenges going on for them, and adolescence is a really hard time anyway. But if they don't have someone or somewhere to go for help, then we know it can just be all the more challenging. Young people across Australia are the thing that worries us the most about young people is that they're the least likely age group to ask for help. And when we know that loneliness and bullying and mental illness and lack of hope for the future are so prevalent for young people, we just know that this is becoming an urgent crisis. We also know that suicide is the leading cause of death for young people in our country, more than car accidents and more than cancer. So it's a concern that we're really worried about, and I'm really kind of sorry that I started on such a down note with you, but we just wanted you to understand, why we exist and the reason why we do the work that we do. The young people that come to us in our program, so basically we're running early intervention programs with mentors in schools right across the country, and we bring in volunteers from the community, just like yourselves, to come in and just sit and listen and talk with young people for 23 weeks, for an hour a week. So some of those issues that they bring up in mentoring that they want to work on with their mentors include these. So we see lots of anxiety and depression, self-harm and disordered eating. We see a lot of bullying for young people, and as I mentioned before, suicidality is ever prevalent across our country. That doesn't mean to say that the mentee that you might get matched with will have one or more of these issues that they want to talk to you about. Sometimes they'll come in and they just want to talk to you about whatever it is that's going on for them, what happened on the weekend, maybe an assignment from work, maybe they're truanting a lot, maybe there's a breakdown in their family at home. So no need to get alarmed about some of these really more serious issues, because we do provide you training and we do provide you support, but we just wanted you to know why we exist and the reason why young people need help. The good news is that 74% of mentees say that the program helps them to cope with these issues, so that's fantastic. So we come in, that's all the hard reason why we exist. On the good side is that we come into schools and we run these early intervention evidence-based mentoring programs for young people in schools who want to be matched with a trained and trusted independent adult. So it's someone who's not their parent, not a teacher, not a counsellor. So someone who's just there to listen, ask the right questions, and just show up for them every week to feel what that's like, to have someone to support them. And I think the beauty of having a mentor is that they know that whatever they tell their mentor, unless they say that they're at risk of significant harm, everything is going to remain confidential. So they know it's not going to end up on Snapchat the next day, and that's part of the amazing honesty of the relationship. So that's really cool. So we have been operating in Australia since 2008. We've been working for 14 years across the country, and in the beginning, we hoped we could just help one young person. So it's quite remarkable to us that over 7,200 people have volunteered to become mentors, just like yourselves, that we've run, over 860 programs, and we've been able to support over 10,700 young people. We have a team of over 100 staff. Most of them are qualified counsellors who run the program, so about 75% of them run our programs, and the rest are our support team. We wanted you to know that we have a lot of differentiators from other mentoring programs. There's lots of great mentoring programs around, but there are kind of three key things that I'll highlight from this slide, apart from us, always putting young people first, and, the idea that we create thriving communities around the country. I guess the three things to highlight to you is that we provide industry-leading mentor training to make sure that you have the skills and confidence to be a good mentor for the young person. Our programs are all, as I said before, delivered by qualified counsellors in the schools. So we hire those people and they come into the school. We have up to 15 mentors and up to 15 young people, and that counsellor is there the whole time to help supervise and run activities and make sure that you're okay and everyone's okay. So the counsellors are a key differentiator. And the third one is that we do comprehensive evaluation so that we can prove and improve the impact that the program has for the young people and for the mentors and for the schools. So in terms of impact, when young people come through our program, we know that they're able to survive through adolescence, they're able to believe in themselves and others, and they're able to be equipped and shape a purposeful life for themselves. We know that they can come out of the program with like a backpack of tools that they can access. So the key outcomes that we work on are mental health support, social and emotional wellbeing, and school engagement. And within those areas, we help young people to work on these four key areas. So we want them to know how to ask for help and accept help from trusted adults all around them. We want them to be resilient so that they can bounce back after stress and recover from challenge. We'd like them to have hope for their future so they can set goals, achieve goals, have a growth mindset. And we know that hope is a buffer against suicide ideation. So that's a really important one for us. And school belonging. So we know that young people can improve their relationships with schools, have more confidence academically, see themselves finishing school and finding work and becoming happy, healthy adults. In terms of our impact, we do get statistically significant improvements. We do pre and post surveys. We do qualitative and quantitative research in those four areas. So hope, resilience, help seeking, and school belonging. And we get statistically significant improvements either for the whole cohort or for those that were low at the baseline, which is really important to us. We do have a big aspiration to create thriving communities right across the country. When we talk about that, we mean, yes, we help young people on the one hand, but on the other hand, we're also upskilling a lot of adults all around the country to know what to do if a young person is not okay, and how to have that conversation, how to listen, ask the right questions, and help young people, particularly in public secondary schools, who are most at risk of disengagement and poor wellbeing. So that's our big goal. So I'm going to stop talking about Raise now and hand you over to Rach. She's our volunteer engagement manager, and she's going to tell you what's actually involved with becoming a Raise mentor. So over to you, Rach.
Thanks, Vicky. Thank you for that. Sorry, I made that rookie error of having my mute button on. On this slide is just a quick checklist for you to make sure that you can tick all these boxes. So you do need to be available for 2 hours a week for 23 weeks. That does exclude school holidays. It is at the same day and time for each of those 23 weeks. So you'll be able to schedule around that. And it's during terms 2 and 3. So you need to be age 21. If you are studying something relevant to mentoring, whether that be psychology or social care, then you can be 20 as well at the time that the programme starts. You do need to be able to attend a school that's local or convenient to you and be able to complete our compulsory screening. That consists of a working with children check and a police check. If you already have those, you can attach those to the application form, or you can upload them into our Raise Digital Hub, Alternatively, once you're in the Raise Digital Hub, you can then find all the information on how to apply for them if you don't already have them. You also need to be willing to complete our Raise Youth Mentor training, which we will provide for you. That training consists of online training modules, which will take around 3 hours. You can do them in your own time and you don't need to do them all at once. And then there's a 1-day group mentor training. We've got some face-to-face sessions now. We're really excited to be able to bring back face-to-face training, or there is 2 sessions of online as well. So there's plenty of different sessions and dates for you to choose from. So your journey then starts here. It starts with finding out more information at this information session. If you feel like mentoring is something for you, we'd absolutely love you to fill out the application form. Once you have applied, my team will then screen your application, and if successful, you'll then receive a welcome email that provides you access to that Raise Digital Hub, and that's where you start that training. So once your online training has been completed and we've received and verified your checks, you will then be invited to attend that group mentor training. Group mentor training is finishing up on the 25th of March 2023. It sounds a long way away, but we do encourage you to start moving through the process as soon as you can, so that we can then enroll you into one of your program preferences. So on the application form, you will be able to state 3 programs where you want to mentor at, and we will pretty much be able to place you into one of those preferences. So once you've finished all your training, you're then a fully qualified Raise Youth Mentor and you're ready for placement. So while you're working through your journey there, in the background, the schools, teachers and guidance counsellors are all recommending Raise to their year 8 or 9 students, who then voluntarily enter into the programme with their parents' permission. So as I said earlier, programs begin in April and they start with an orientation session at the school. This is where you meet your program counsellor and the other mentors in the group. And as Vicki said, we do aim to have around 15 mentors in each program so that we can then mentor 15 young people. So Jitters usually follows the orientation session the next week, and that's where you get to meet the young person for the first time and the mentoring really gets going. So the programme concludes with the graduation ceremony around mid-October, and this marks the end of the programme for you, and it's now up to the mentees to apply the skills that they've learnt throughout the year. So a quick reminder is that mentoring is a 23-week commitment, 2 hours a week, same day, same time every week. The first hour is made up of the mentoring and the second is mentor support, and that's where all the mentors in the group come together with our Raise PC, and that's your time to ask questions, seek support and your opportunity for continuous learning. So we do recommend not missing more than 3 weeks of mentoring. If you have a holiday booked or you do need to take that time out, that's absolutely fine. We do have relief mentors who are able to step in should you be unable to mentor. All we ask is that you just let your PC know in advance so that we can set the expectations of your young person. So we know that our volunteers benefit from a sense of purpose and giving back, but it's so much more than that. Our research tells us that mentors experience statistically significant increases in their knowledge and ability to relate to young people, as well as confidence in their ability to mentor young people outside of Raise. So mentors also tell us that the improved listening and leadership skills and an increase in their own self-esteem and empathy are useful in their home and work lives as well. So it undoubtedly impacts not only your own well-being, but those of those around you as well. So the mentoring skills that our volunteers learn, we find, are also transferable to other facets of your life, you know, assisting with paid work, parenting skills, mentoring in the workplace, and community involvement with other people. So so that's it from me. That's the journey explained. I would love to pass you over to Jo, who is one of our experienced mentors. And while she's talking, just please bear in mind, if you do need any more information, you can go to our website shown there. You can also email my team if you've got any questions at all. Over to you, Jo.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Jo, and I mentored for the first time in 2022, and I mentored at my local high school, which I found really convenient because it is about a 5-minute walk from my house. So I was able to actually sort of incorporate that in my working week. So I could easily just sort of extend my lunch break that day and just take the 2 hours out of the day, walk up to my school and mentor. So it was really, really convenient in that way. So I have to say I was a little bit nervous about mentoring, because you kind of wonder, you know, whether or not you have the skills necessary to support the young people with all the things that they're going through in their life. And as Vicki talked about earlier, you know, there are some pretty big things that these young people are going through. But once you actually start on the journey to become a mentor and you get you start with that training. So first of all, there's the online training component that you get to do at your own pace. And that's really interactive. It's really interesting. It really gives you some great sort of a great grounding for what to expect as a mentor. But then the best part of the training was actually going to the group mentor training, which is, I mean, when I was learning, we did it through Zoom, but I know now that we are doing some face-to-face sessions again, which is great. But the group mentor training was where you talked a lot about youth safety, things like boundaries, youth well-being. Like, there were so many topics that you just were able to get into. And what you also were able to do in that group mentor training was to do some role plays. So a lot of people on the training course were quite nervous about, you know, how to approach certain scenarios. And once you actually get involved and do the role plays, it really makes you think, oh, wow, yeah, I can do this. And the other thing to understand is that once you actually get there at the school, you've got so much support. Like, you've got a qualified program counsellor there on site with you, and you've also got the wellbeing team of the school. So all of these people that are there to support you as mentors, but also to support the young person. So you really do have a lot of support around you from Raise and also the school. Yeah, so as I was saying about nerves, it does, you do feel a little bit nervous, but the very first session that you have on site at the school is called Jitters. I think I heard Rach mention that before. And Jitters is this really cool session where you all come together and you meet each other. So you're meeting the mentors and the mentees, and you actually get to talk to all the mentees, and you actually start building a relationship with them at that point. And then the program counsellor can sort of see who's making connections, and he or she actually then just sort of makes a decision as to who's being matched. But the mentee has a choice in that as well. So they get the option to write down who they enjoyed getting to know at the Jitters. So it's yeah, it was a really fun session, and it really does calm the nerves, because, you know, once you first get there and you start, you're like, okay, I can do this now. But yeah, so it is face to face, and that's, I guess, was a really great thing as well. So you get in there, you're in usually in a library or somewhere within the school, and you sit down one-on-one with your young person each week. And one of the things that they talk a lot about, the program counsellor talks a lot about, is that it is mentee-led. So, you know, you go into the session and you do, you're guided by your mentee. And the mentee that I had, he just loved to chat. So, you know, we just got there and we talked about, you know, his extended family and some of the issues that he was going through. One of the things that he had a problem with was not doing his assessments on time. So we talked a lot about that. And honestly, by the end of the year, he was so excited to come in and tell me, oh my goodness, I've already started my assessment and I've still got 2 weeks to go. So, you know, we were really proud of that sort of achievement. But I noticed that in my group, there were some mentees that weren't as chatty as mine. And I think having this mentee handbook is really, really useful to help sort of guide the session. And there's lots of different topics that you can go through with your young person, like, you know, where they can ask for help. Yeah, it just, there's a lot of amazing and really useful topics that you can go through with your mentee. And I tried each week to get to talk a little bit with my mentee, and he would have a good go, but then he'd just like to have the chat, which was what he liked to happen from the session. One of the most emotional parts of the year I found was the graduation ceremony. So at the end of the year, you get together with all the mentees and you get up and you are able to talk to each other in front of the group and say how you feel about each other and how far you've come. And I actually feel like I'm getting quite emotional, like talking about it now, because I've still got my card that my mentee wrote me, and it was the most beautiful card. Yeah, so it was just a wonderful experience, and I would really recommend it to anybody. If you're thinking about it and you're thinking that you're nervous, don't be nervous. You've got so much support, and you've got a lot of training that will put you in right up there, so that you know what to do when you're in front of a mentee. I think, we all have young people in our lives, whether it's our own children or our neighbours or our nieces or nephews, and I think what this has done for me is just really given me a lot more experience with talking and dealing with young people. And yeah, so I really would recommend mentoring if you haven't put your application in yet. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Jo. It's fantastic. Thanks also, Rach. So if you would like to sign up, please do go to our website at raise.org.au/mentor, or you can drop an email to mentor@raise.org.au, and you'll get Rach or Jo or one of the team who can answer your questions. So we look forward to seeing you in the Raise Village. Thank you so much again for your interest in becoming a Raise mentor. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.